Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to Terror Talk, where I discuss creepy clips online. Just to set up clear expectations, this is a commentary channel on scary stories and weird stuff. So, if commentaries are a thing, you're in the right place. The original horror music at the end of my videos was composed by me. Now, let's get into it and have some fun.
I was chilling at home this night, just like any other. There really wasn't anything interesting going on. I was just enjoying my time sitting on the couch and watching TV, staying up late to take advantage of the long weekend. I guess I should mention I lived alone in a typical suburban home. I had a pretty nasty breakup a few months prior, and after it was all said and done, I decided to keep the house rather than sell it. But that's a story for another day. It was around 10 or 11 p.m., and I was sipping on a nice cold can of Budweiser when a sound came from out of nowhere. It sounded like a knock, but not from the front door, which still wouldn't have made sense at this time of night, but it was from behind me, like in the back of the house. I left the TV running and walked around to see what it was. To me, it sounded like something tapping on a window, but that had to not be right, so I assumed it was maybe something falling over. I walked through the hall and peeked my head into the family room, and then the kitchen, but there was nothing to see anywhere.
Yeah, if I heard a knocking or a tapping on the glass or even the door that late at night, I would automatically get a really bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. What about you? Because when knocking starts to happen late at night like that, like nothing good can really come of it. Do you have any scary stories like that where you heard knocking late at night and then something really creepy happened? Let me know in the comments below if anything like that has ever happened to you, because just thinking about, something like this, I'm kind of alone at home right now, and just watching these scary stories is kind of getting me spooked, like, oh, like what's gonna happen next? I actually got a roommate recently, and it does make it a lot less lonely and less, a little less scary living alone. Not that living alone is scary, but it can get very lonely at times. And definitely at night, it can be a little bit unsettling if you're all alone. And that's why, in general, I don't watch these scary stories at night like I am right now. But it does definitely make it more scary. So let me know in the comments below if you have any scary stories related to hearing knocking late at night, because that is definitely one of the more scary things that can happen, because nothing ever good comes from that. Nothing.
So I just went back to the couch. I might be a little less cautious than the average person because I really thought nothing of it. Like, I didn't care whatever it was because it had to be nothing important. I stayed on the couch for a while, still just drinking and chilling, before I heard it again, tapping on a window. After hearing it that second time, I was almost certain that that's what it was. I got up and went around to the other rooms again. This time, though, something was immediately off. One of the windows in the back of the room was open, and so was the basement door. If it were one or the other, I probably could have thought my way out of believing someone broke in. But both suddenly being open, and with the sounds I'd been hearing, I knew it was too much to be nothing. Now I know how stupid of a decision it was, but at the time I felt like I had to check the basement. I think the alcohol gave me some poor judgment. And to be honest, I was a pretty big guy with a big ego. So I wasn't about to run out of my house and let someone else get away scot free. I looked down the dark and empty staircase for a moment.
Okay, one. Didn't the name at the beginning of the video say Anna? I'm pretty sure it was. And two, like, why is he saying I'm a pretty big guy if the name is Anna? That doesn't quite add up, does it? So, kind of makes me wonder, like, how realistic these stories are sometimes. But either way, they're pretty decent stories. I'm not gonna lie. I think Mr. Nightmare stories are way better. That's just my honest opinion, though. But the second thing is, I would never go into the basement late at night, and especially after seeing that the window was open and the basement door was open. Hell no, I would never go into the basement by myself if both those things had happened. But that's just me. Would you go into the basement? Let me know.
Somehow, there wasn't any sound coming from down there. I took a few steps down the creaky stairs and flipped on the dim lighting. Since moving in, I don't think I'd ever gone into the basement at night. I just never had a reason to. It was unfinished and kinda useless. So when I got to the bottom, I was caught off guard by just how little I could see. The lights barely did anything. There were dark corners all over that anyone could be hiding in, and that's when the fear really started kicking in. I sobered up real fast, and I got the hell out of that basement. I closed the door behind me and moved the nearest large piece of furniture to block it. I called the police, and by some odd chance, an officer happened to be just on the other side of the neighborhood. He got there quick, coming in with a flashlight and his gun drawn as he searched the basement. Didn't take him but 10 seconds to find a man crouched down in the dark corner right next to the stairs. I must have been just 3 or 4 feet away from him when I was down there. The man was armed, too, with a large kitchen knife. Thankfully, he didn't fight the cop, though, and went down easy. As far as why he broke in, it beats me. The man said he was just trying to shelter from the elements, which made no sense because it was pretty decent weather outside. And from what they could find, the man wasn't even homeless. He had an apartment downtown and a regular job. That was probably the closest I'd been to having my life cut short. And it's really disturbing how completely out of nowhere it would have happened, and for no known reason. Guess this is a lesson to never let your guard down too far, even on a seemingly uneventful night.
Yeah, I was thinking that the person would have been the ex. But it wasn't. It was just some random person that had broken in. And yeah, pretty crazy that they were just in beat away from them in the basement. So you just never know what can happen. I mean, even in a super safe neighborhood, you're never fully guaranteed. So my recommendation is to always keep your doors locked and windows tightly shut, because you never know what creepers are lurking out there in the dark. Now, are these videos, real? I don't think all of them are 100% true stories, because it was a little suspicious to me that, the name at the beginning of this said Anna, and then they said I'm a pretty big guy. I mean, unless that was just like a figure of speech, I guess, and not meant to be taken literally, but still. It does make me question the legitimacy of these stories when there are little weird glitches like that in the story. But yeah, either way, I thought this story was creepy, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary and the music, and I will see you in the next video.